Alright, so we managed to get our struts off the car, so we have both the fronts off, and now we need to get the spring out. So we can replace the springs, we can replace the cartridge as well. And in order to do that, we need to first compress the springs so that we can remove this nut at the top here and remove this top piece, and then we can remove the compressed spring and then decompress it safely. So the way we do that, we use something called the Mcpherson Strut spring compressor, and mine just came in the mail today. So it looks like something like this. There'll be 2 bars with little latches on either end, and these ones have the safety clips as well. And what these effectively do will grab the bottom of the spring and the top of the spring, and then you're going to use either a ratchet or a torque wrench or whatever to slowly compress the spring, bring these 2 things closer together, and you have one on either side of the spring. So we're going to show that process here. And again, they latch here and then just squeeze the spring together so that when we release this thing doesn't fly off and hit somebody or do some damage or become dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and do that and show you the process. Alright, so what you can see we've done here is put the spring compressors on both sides and just tighten it down using torque wrench or just a regular wrench. And you're supposed to get the furthest coil springs you can, so like the lowest one and the highest one you could possibly do. I was only able to get the middle ones here because the spring isn't very big. You can see only about 4 coils. So do the best you can. You're trying to get some tension off the spring so that when you loosen this it doesn't come flying off. And then once that's off, you can release the tension slowly and take the spring off. So now that we're satisfied with our spring compressors, they've compressed the spring enough, we're going to go for the big nut on the top here. And if you haven't already loosened this, so some people recommend to loosen this while it's actually in the car and the wheels are on the ground, and that way you can actually just loosen it so that it's easier to take off right now. If you haven't done that like I did, I forgot, you're going to have to use a torque wrench, or an impact wrench, sorry, that can just pull this thing off. Otherwise, if you're trying to use a regular breaker bar, like a manual one, you're going to spin the spring. So you actually won't loosen it, it'll just spin the spring inside the shock, and inside the strut, and it's going to be just doing damage, not even getting off. So get yourself an impact wrench or loosen it before you actually pull this whole thing off the car. And once this is off, we'll take the spring out. Alright, so we managed to pull that off, no problem. You can see the spring just slides out. It's being compressed right now. It's totally harmless. So now we're going to loosen this slowly and safely. This is the isolator here, rubber isolator, and the top of the strut, and then this is the thing that mounts to the chassis. And so you can take everything out. This is the bumper. We're going to take out the actual shock here, the tube, and we're going to replace it. And just inspect everything, make sure nothing's damaged, and then you can rebuild your whole strut housing, and with all new parts, new springs, new inserts, and put it back in the car. So now it's time to remove the insert, and to do that we need to remove this gland nut, and we're going to be using a monkey wrench, a big pipe wrench, and we're in a vise right now, and we're just going to wrench this thing out and then pull this insert out. And I think there should be a little bit of oil or fluid in here just to cool this insert, so just be careful you don't make a huge mess. But you're going to need a vise for this and some sort of big pipe wrench to get that gland nut off. Once that's off, you can just pull it right out.